Autism Edge series. I'm very excited to share the series with you. Autism Edge was born through the journey I have embarked, gathering insights and knowledge along the way. And I would love to share what I have learned in the last 6 years with you. And today we are going to talk about Mercury and Mercury toxicity. So this week we are discussing a very important aspect of autism, and that's Mercury. What a subject. So Mercury is known as to be a very harmful to the body and creates brain damage in children. So why do we, as parents, need to know about Mercury? So some theory for you. We are exposed to Mercury in different ways and forms. There are 3 different types of Mercury, and the types are elemental, inorganic, and organic Mercury. So elemental Mercury is the most common form. It is a metallic silver liquid that is processed from an ore called cinnabar, and it readily breaks into droplets and easily vaporizes at room temperature into an odorless, colorless vapor that can easily be inhaled without you realizing it. So the risk of this type of mercury is that it easily crosses over into your blood-brain and placental barriers and can enter breast milk. It is a dangerous neurotoxin that impacts the central nervous system, and some of the neurological effects are tremors, mood swings, irritability, excessive shyness, insomnia, loss of coordination, and slurred speech. Inorganic mercury can enter the blood through mouth and skin from products such as disinfectants, so what you use in your house, and fungicides. So inorganic mercury compounds are frequently found in school science labs, so that's where you can find them, and the risk of inorganic mercury is the least toxic of the 3 forms of mercury. It can damage the GI tract, which we already know is very important in autism, and with their health, so as well as the kidneys and nervous system. High exposures can lead to skin rashes, mood swings, memory loss, mental disturbance, and muscle weakness. Organic mercury is most commonly found in the environment, so around us. It is converted from its inorganic form by a biological bacterial process. Okay, so it is bioaccumulates in the environment and is most commonly found in fish. So oral ingestion of fish is the most common route of exposure of mercury to humans. The risk involved is that it crosses the barrier again, like we mentioned, from the blood-brain and placental barriers, which can damage the central nervous system and causes birth defects, neurological problems, and developmental delays. Fetuses are the most vulnerable to methylmercury toxics effects because studies have shown that cord blood levels are twice as concentrated as maternal blood levels for mercury. Chronic exposure to methylmercury can cause an impairment in vision, in sight, in speech, walking, hearing, and lack of coordination from your gross and your fine motor. So why do you as parent need to know about mercury? And mercury in children with autism can cause certain characteristics that we see as abnormalities. Arms flapping, speech development delays, poor or no eye contact, oversensitivity issues to sound and touch, as well as low muscle tone and sleep disorders. These are only a few examples, but the similarities between mercury poisoning and autism cannot be seen as not important. High levels of metals in autistic children are found and can be detoxified through the right diet. Children with autism is more prone to neurological damage due to mercury, and mercury clings to the brain and tissue and can be difficult to test for. So as children with autism struggle to detoxify, it is hard for them to excrete metals through different systems like urine, hair, and sweat, like most of us. Mercury can also decrease immune function, so they can become more sick easily. So thimerosal inhibits DPP4, an enzyme that is needed in the breakdown of gluten and casein, which also influence T cells or microbes, a binding protein for purine and an enzyme which is important for energy release and control. Low DPP4 results in unbalance in amino acids, therefore makes the detox difficult. So how can this diet increase the levels of mercury in a body? A high consumption of seafoods like fish, salmon are in the lower ranges of containing mercury, where shark and sailfish or tilefish with very high levels of mercury. Air is also a source of how mercury can end up in your system. Air pollution is a big one. A study have found that in areas where the air contained high levels of mercury, the rates of children with special educational needs increased by about 43%. Any area with high levels of metals in the air contributes to the high levels of metals found in children, and so possible influencing their behaviors. Please let us know if you would like to know more about how you can use diet to lower the metals in the system, as well as how to detox metals through following the right diet. We would love to hear from you. Pop us an email to info@strausacadamia.co.za, or you can go to our Facebook page, Strauss Academia, to look what we are up to and what we are doing at this moment, as well as how you can enter into or register into the Autism Edge series, where we have 6 steps that we take to make sure that the children are healthy and developing, as well as talking about the diet and diet tips, foods to avoid and foods to include in the diet, to make sure that we can go into the detox phase for the learners and make sure that they are healthy.